Isabel, a 32-year-old single mother, woke up every day before dawn, when the world was still in deep silence. Her days began in the dim light, with the only sound being the alarm clock breaking the early morning silence. She lived in a small apartment in the city center, a confined space she shared with her three children, 8-year-old Martine, 6-year-old Sophia, and little Lucas, who was just 3. Isabel's day started with a quick cup of coffee while she prepared school lunches for Martine and Sophia. Then, she woke her children one by one, with a tenderness that contrasted with her constant exhaustion. She made sure each one was dressed, fed, and ready for school before heading to her first job of the day. Isabel worked as a cashier at a local supermarket, where her hours slowly passed by scanning products and forcing smiles at customers. At noon, Isabel had a brief respite before her second job. She picked up Lucas from daycare, and the two walked back home, where they shared a simple lunch. These moments were the most precious for Isabel, as Lucas always managed to make her smile with his antics and curious questions. Afterward, she left him with a trusted neighbor, an older woman who had become a kind of adoptive grandmother to her children. Her second job began in the afternoon, cleaning offices in a downtown building. She spent hours disinfecting desks, emptying trash cans, and ensuring everything was in perfect order for the employees who would return the next day. The work was exhausting, and every time she boarded the bus home, her feet ached as if they were made of lead. However, the fatigue was not enough to break her spirit. Every night, when she finally got home, Isabel faced the nighttime routine, helping the kids with their homework, preparing dinner, and finally putting them to bed. Each of her children had a special bedtime ritual. Martine insisted on a story before closing his eyes. Sophia preferred her mother to sing a song, and Lucas simply needed Isabel's warm embrace to fall asleep. Isabel found solace in these moments of tranquility when the only sound was the soft breathing of her sleeping children. She knew her life was marked by constant struggle, long working hours, and the perpetual worry of making ends meet, but she also knew that every sacrifice was worth it for them. Her children were her drive, the reason she got up every morning and faced another day of hard work with a smile. That night, as she sat on the edge of her bed, watching her little ones sleep, Isabel allowed her thoughts to wander for a moment. She dreamed of a future where her children would not have to face the same hardships she had, a future where they could pursue their dreams without the chains of poverty she knew so well. She closed her eyes, letting exhaustion finally overcome her, with the hope that someday her daily struggle would bear fruit and bring a bit of light into her life. One Saturday morning, when the sky was clear and the sun shone with a summery intensity, Isabel decided it was the perfect day to take her children to the park. It was a small luxury she could afford occasionally, and she knew the kids loved to run and play outdoors. The park was just a few blocks from their apartment, a green space with swings, slides, and a large grassy area where the children could let their imaginations run wild. Martine, Sophia, and Lucas ran towards the playground as soon as they arrived, their laughter echoing in the fresh morning air. Isabel sat on a nearby bench, watching them, with a smile as she enjoyed the rare moment of tranquility. It was in these moments that Isabel felt all her effort was worth it, seeing her children happy and carefree. While the children played, Isabel decided to take a walk around the park, always staying within sight. She walked slowly, enjoying the serenity of the surroundings. Near an old oak tree, something caught her attention. There was a partially buried object in the ground, barely visible among the tree's roots. Isabel approached, her curiosity piqued. The object seemed to be a metal corner, dirty and rusted by time. Isabel knelt, using her hands to carefully remove the soil. She felt the cool, moist earth under her fingers as she cleared the outline of what soon revealed itself to be a small antique chest. It was heavy and adorned with intricate designs that were barely visible through the rust and dirt. With effort, Isabel managed to pull the chest from the ground, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. What was an object like this doing buried in a park? She stared at the chest for a moment, trying to decide what to do. Her first instinct was to take it home to examine it in more detail, but she also feared it might be dangerous or belong to someone. Before making a decision, she called her children, who came running, curious to see what their mother had found. Martin, with his natural inclination for adventure, suggested opening it right there. However, Isabel decided it was better to take it home, where they could examine it more calmly and without rush. With the chest firmly in hand, Isabel and her children headed back to the apartment. Along the way, their minds were filled with speculations about what the mysterious object might contain. Would it be ancient treasures, lost love letters, or perhaps something even more valuable? When they arrived home, Isabel placed the chest on the dining table. The children gathered around it, their eyes shining with anticipation. Isabel took a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly from the mix of excitement and fear of the unknown. As she looked at the chest, a sense of imminent change filled the air, as if this unexpected find were the prelude to a new chapter in their lives. Isabel could not foresee what she would find inside the chest, but at that moment, as she looked at the expectant faces of her children, she felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this different day would be the beginning of something that would change their lives forever. Isabel could not help but let her mind wander as she contemplated the ancient chest on the dining table. Her children, excited and full of curiosity, circled around her, asking questions and speculating about what they might find inside. Isabel, however, maintained an outward calm, though inside her heart pounded with anticipation. Something in her intuition told her that this find was important, something that could change their lives in an unexpected way. Determined to discover the contents of the chest, Isabel searched for a small tool that could help her open it. She found a screwdriver in the kitchen drawer and sat down, again before the chest. The children gathered around her, watching her every move with bright eyes. Carefully, Isabel inserted the screwdriver into the rusty lock slot, applying gentle pressure. The metal protested with a squeak, but after a few moments, it yielded. With a dry snap, Isabel lifted the chest lid with trembling hands, and a cloud of dust rose into the air, causing the children to step back a bit. Inside, the chest revealed its contents, wrapped in a linen cloth faded by time. Isabel carefully removed the cloth, and what she saw beneath took her breath away. There was a collection of old letters, tied with a faded ribbon. Alongside them, a small wooden jewelry box contained several pieces of jewelry, a necklace with an emerald pendant, pearl earrings, and a gold ring with an almost illegible inscription. Beneath the jewelry, Isabel found a series of old documents, some written in elegant calligraphy and others on paper that seemed on the verge of disintegration due to age. Martin was the first to break the silence. "Mom, what is all this?" he asked with wide eyes. "I don't know, darling," Isabel replied, still absorbing the discovery. "But it seems to be something very old and important. Maybe these letters can give us some clues." With great care, Isabel took the top letter from the pile and untied the ribbon. She unfolded the paper with trembling hands and began to read aloud. The letter was written in beautiful, flowing handwriting, speaking of love and loss, of times of war and sacrifice. It was signed by a woman named Amelia and addressed to someone named Tomas. It was evident that the letters told a deep and personal story, a story Isabel felt compelled to uncover completely. Hours passed at the dining table, Isabel reading aloud while the children listened. Silently, fascinated by the unfolding story. Each letter revealed a little more about the lives of Amelia and Tomas, their struggles, their hopes, and their dreams. Isabel felt an inexplicable connection to the woman who wrote those letters, as if Amelia's words were meant to find her. When the last letter was read, Isabel leaned back in her chair, exhausted but excited. She knew these letters and the jewelry were just the beginning of a journey into the unknown. The old documents she had not yet examined closely likely contained more clues about the identity of Amelia and Tomas and the connection of this couple with the buried chest. The children, though tired, did not want to leave the chest. Martin offered to help his mother further investigate the origin of the objects, while Sophia and Lucas remained, watching the jewelry with dazzled eyes. Isabel knew she had to find answers, not just to satisfy her curiosity, but also because something inside her told her that this find had the potential to change their lives. With renewed determination, she promised herself she would uncover the whole truth behind the chest and its contents, not imagining that this quest would lead her to an encounter with her own destiny. That night, while her children slept, Isabel could not stop thinking about the chest's contents. The letters, the jewelry, and the documents had filled her with unanswered questions. Determined to unravel the mystery, she sat alone in the kitchen, the chest open before her. She took a deep breath and began to examine the documents in more detail. There were notarial acts, property deeds, and other legal documents that seemed old but well preserved. One of the papers particularly caught her attention, a will mentioning a considerable inheritance belonging to a family named Martinez. Isabel could not believe what she was reading. Could it be that these documents and letters were related to a wealthy family in the city? The jewelry, carefully placed on the table, sparkled under the lamp's dim light. Isabel examined them one by one, trying to imagine the story behind each piece. The emerald necklace had an intricate design and seemed very valuable. The pearl earrings and the gold ring were also beautiful, though simpler. However, what intrigued Isabel the most were the letters. Determined to know more about Amelia and Tomas, Isabel continued reading the letters, one by one. As she progressed, the love and lost story of the couple from the past became increasingly clear and moving. Amelia's words, full of passion and sorrow, made Isabel feel a deep connection with this woman who had lived more than a century ago. One of the letters described how Tomas had had to hide the jewelry and documents to protect them during times of great turmoil and danger. Isabel understood that the chest had been buried to keep those valuable family possessions safe. She felt a mix of awe and responsibility, realizing she had unearthed something that had remained hidden for so long. As she read, Isabel found a particular letter that seemed to be the last one written by Amelia. In it, Amelia mentioned that if anyone ever found the chest, she hoped the jewelry and documents could serve to help the finder, just as her love for Tomas had helped them overcome their own difficulties. With tears in her eyes, Isabel closed the last letter. She realized she had found more than just a chest of jewelry and documents. She had found a story of love and sacrifice that transcended time. She knew she had to do something with this find, something that honored the memory of Amelia and Tomas. The next day, Isabel made a decision. With the documents and a selection of the letters, she headed to the civil registry and the local library to investigate more about the Martinez family. She spent hours reviewing files and records, trying to trace a link between the names in the documents and the current Martinez family in the city. It was a tedious process, but she finally found a connection. The Martinez were a prominent family that had lived in the city for generations and still resided there. With this new information, Isabel felt more determined than ever. She wondered how the family would react to learning about the chest and its contents. Would they be interested in reclaiming these family relics? And how would this affect her own life and that of her children? That night, Isabel talked to her children about her discovery and her plan to contact the Martinez family. The children, excited by the idea of a real adventure, supported their mother's decision. Isabel felt comforted by their enthusiasm and determination. The next day, Isabel gathered her courage and looked up the contact number for the Martinez family. She knew she was about to embark on a new stage in her life, one that could bring significant changes. With the phone in hand, she took a deep breath and dialed the number, ready to discover what the future held for her and her children. Amelia's letters kept resonating in Isabel's mind, like echoes of a past filled with intense emotions. There was something in Amelia's words that deeply touched her, something that made her feel connected to this woman who had lived so many decades ago. With the Martinez family contact in hand, Isabel sat in the living room, surrounded by the letters and documents, mentally preparing for what she was going to say. She decided that the best way to start was to continue reading the letters, immersing herself even more in Amelia and Tomas's story. Each letter she read transported her to a different era, filled with challenges and hopes, love, and sacrifice. Isabel could almost feel Amelia's presence beside her, as if her words were whispers crossing time. One of the most moving letters described how Amelia and Tomas met. Amelia had been a free-spirited young woman from a humble family who had met Tomas at a local festival. Tomas, from a wealthy family, had fallen in love with Amelia at first sight, impressed by her bravery and infectious joy. Despite his family's opposition, who did not approve of the relationship, Tomas had decided to follow his heart. Isabel read about the happy moments they shared, but also about the difficulties they faced. Tomas's family had done everything possible to separate them, but their love had proven stronger. However, the letters also spoke of dark times when war and uncertainty had tested their relationship. It was in those moments that Tomas decided to bury the chest, hoping that someday it could be recovered and reunite the family. Amelia's words reflected not only the deep love she felt for Tomas, but also her concern for the future. Isabel realized that Amelia had written those letters not only to express her feelings but also as a testament to their love, hoping that someday someone would find them and understand the depth of their bond. Determined to honor that story, Isabel took one of the most revealing letters and prepared to contact the Martinez family. She knew it would not be easy, but she felt it was her duty. With the documents and the jewelry by her side, she took the phone and dialed the number she had found. On the other side of the line, a kind voice answered. Isabel explained who she was and what she had found, trying to convey the importance of the discovery without sounding too emotional. The person on the other end, a woman named Clara, seemed intrigued and asked to meet in person to discuss the matter further. After hanging up, Isabel felt a mix of nervousness and relief. She had taken the first step toward resolving this mystery. She told her children about the upcoming meeting, and although Martine, Sofia, and Lucas were full of questions, they all shared their mother's excitement. They knew they were on the brink of something big, something that could change their lives forever. The following days passed quickly as Isabel prepared for the meeting. She reread the letters over and over, trying to absorb every detail, every emotion, to be able to convey Amelia and Tomas's story in the best possible way. She also reviewed the documents and jewelry, ensuring everything was in order. Finally, the day of the meeting arrived. Isabel headed to the address Clara had given her, an imposing old house in one of the city's most elegant neighborhoods. Upon arrival, she was greeted by Clara, a woman in her 50s with a kind and curious expression. Isabel was led to an elegantly decorated living room, where several members of the Martinez family were waiting to hear her story. With the chest in her hands and the documents and letters by her side, Isabel began to narrate the story of her discovery, from the moment she saw the buried chest to the emotions she felt reading Amelia's letters. The Martinez family listened in silence, amazed by the story and the connection that seemed to unite them through time. As Isabel read excerpts from the letters and showed the jewelry, the atmosphere in the room filled with a mix of nostalgia and admiration. Clara and the other family members could not believe what they were seeing and hearing. At the end of the meeting, Clara, with tears in her eyes, took Isabel's hands and thanked her for bringing such an important part of their family history to light. Isabel felt she had fulfilled a mission, but also knew this was only the beginning of a new chapter in her life. The revelations about Amelia and Tomas had changed not only her perception of the past, but also her vision of the future, and she was eager to see what new surprises destiny held for them. After the meeting with the Martinez family, Isabel felt a mixture of relief and curiosity. She had fulfilled her promise to honor Amelia and Tomas's memory, but now she had a new mission: to fully understand the meaning of the documents and jewelry she had found. She knew there was more to discover, and that these ancient objects held secrets yet to be revealed. Isabel decided to delve deeper into her research. She went to the local library, where she spent hours reviewing historical archives and old records. She searched for any mention of the Martinez family and their connections in the city. The more she investigated, the more intrigued she became. She discovered that the family had been one of the most influential and powerful in the region in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. But there had been a dark period during the war when much of their fortune had mysteriously disappeared. One of the most intriguing documents she had found in the chest was an old map that seemed to point to a property on the outskirts of the city. Determined to follow this lead, Isabel ventured to that address. Upon arrival, she found an old mansion in ruins, surrounded by overgrown weeds and tall trees. The place had an air of abandonment, but also of mystery. Isabel felt a strange sense of familiarity, as if Amelia's letters had prepared her for this moment. Exploring the surroundings of the mansion, Isabel found a hidden underground entrance beneath some loose boards on the barn floor. With some effort, she managed to lift the boards and discovered a staircase leading to an old cellar. The air was thick with dust and mold, and the darkness was almost total. Summoning her courage, Isabel lit a flashlight and descended the stairs. In the cellar, she found several old chests and boxes, some open and empty, others still locked with rusty padlocks. One of the chests caught her attention because of its size and the detailed decoration on its edges. With effort, Isabel managed to open it and was astonished to find a collection of additional documents, jewelry, and old coins. Among the documents were property deeds and more letters, some of which seemed to be from Tomas to Amelia, never sent. She returned home with some of the most relevant documents and letters, feeling she had found a crucial piece of the puzzle. That night, she sat at her kitchen table, surrounded by the ancient objects, and began to read Tomas's letters. In them, Tomas expressed his desperation to protect his family and his love for Amelia. He also mentioned the fortune he had had to hide due to the war and the political problems of the time. Isabel understood that the documents and jewelry she had found in the cellar were part of the Martinez family's lost fortune. Now she had tangible proof connecting the past with the present, and she knew she had to share this new information with the family. The next day, Isabel contacted Clara again and explained what she had discovered. Clara, amazed by the news, invited her back to her home to discuss the findings. During the meeting, Isabel showed the documents and Tomas's letters, explaining how she had found the cellar and the contents of the chests. The Martinez family was astonished and deeply grateful. Clara and the other family members could not believe the dedication and effort Isabel had put into uncovering their family history. They decided it was necessary to investigate the cellar further and see what other secrets might be discovered. Together, they planned a visit to the old mansion, this time with all the necessary equipment to thoroughly explore it. The Martinez family, moved by Isabel's honesty and effort, began to see her as an ally and friend. Isabel, for her part, felt part of something much bigger than herself, as if she had been destined to find that chest and uncover its contents. The search for the truth was far from over, but Isabel knew she had taken a significant step in the right direction. The Martinez family had promised that if the hidden fortune turned out to be as valuable as they hoped, Isabel and her children would not be forgotten in the distribution of the benefits. With hope and determination, Isabel prepared for the next stages of this incredible adventure, knowing that each day brought new opportunities and revelations. The afternoon sun filtered through the windows of the old Martinez house when Isabel arrived for her meeting with the family. There was an air of anticipation and nervousness among everyone, a sense that they were on the brink of a significant discovery. Isabel had brought with her some of the most revealing documents and letters, ready to share what she had found. Clara greeted her at the door with a warm smile and led her to the living room, where several members of the family were already gathered. Among them were the family patriarch, Don Alejandro, and his children, who seemed as intrigued as they were grateful for Isabel's presence. There was something solemn in the atmosphere, a mix of hope and anxiety. Isabel began her presentation calmly, spreading the documents on the table and explaining their significance. She spoke of the hidden cellar and the chests filled with jewelry and old documents. Each piece of evidence seemed to confirm they had found a crucial part of the Martinez family history, a history that had remained hidden for over a century. Don Alejandro listened attentively, his eyes filled with a mix of sadness and gratitude. It was evident that the stories of Amelia and Tomas had touched a chord in him, and he saw in Isabel someone who had made a great sacrifice to bring this fragment of their history back to them. "Miss Isabel," said Don Alejandro firmly but kindly, "your dedication and honesty are admirable. You have not only discovered a lost part of our history, but also given us the opportunity to reconnect with our past. We want to thank you personally for everything you have done." Clara nodded and took Isabel's hand. "We would like to invite you to dinner at our home tonight so we can express our gratitude more appropriately." Isabel, surprised and excited by the invitation, accepted with a smile. "It will be an honor," she said, feeling closer to the family than she had expected. The dinner was an elegant but intimate occasion, with the Martinez family gathered around a table full of exquisite dishes. During the meal, Isabel shared more details about her life and how she had found the chest. Isabel's children, who had also been invited, quickly integrated with the Martinez family's young members, creating a warm and family-like atmosphere. At the end of the night, Don Alejandro stood up and raised a glass of wine. "I would like to make a toast," he said, capturing everyone's attention, "to Isabel, who has not only brought light to our past but has also demonstrated a rare honesty and bravery. Isabel, we want to offer you a part of the fortune you have helped us discover, not just as a thank you, but because we believe it is the right thing to do." Isabel, emotional and speechless, could hardly believe what she was hearing. "I don't know what to say," she finally responded, tears of joy in her eyes. "I just did what I felt was right. And that," continued Don Alejandro, "is exactly why you deserve this reward. This fortune will change the lives of you and your children, and we are happy to share it with someone so deserving." The Martinez family and Isabel's children applauded, and the atmosphere filled with a sense of hope and gratitude. Isabel knew at that moment that this decisive encounter had not only changed her life, but also created a lasting bond with the Martinez family. As the night came to an end, Isabel felt a peace and happiness she had not felt in a long time. She knew that the road ahead could still hold challenges, but now she had the support of a family that respected and valued her. With this new hope in her heart, Isabel looked to the future with renewed determination and confidence. The night of the dinner had been a milestone in Isabel's life, but the days that followed brought even deeper revelations. The Martinez family, motivated by Isabel's discovery, decided to further investigate the cellar and its hidden treasures. Isabel was invited to join the exploration not just as a thank you, but because her emotional connection to Emilia and Tomas's story made her an essential part of the team. Upon arriving again at the old mansion, Isabel felt a renewed sense of purpose. With the help of some antique experts and archaeologists the family had hired, they began to catalog and carefully examine each object found in the cellar. The jewelry pieces were appraised, the documents translated and preserved, and each letter read attentively to unravel more about Emilia and Tomas's life. During one of these sessions, Clara found a diary hidden among the pages of an old book. The diary, belonging to Tomas, was filled with detailed entries about his life during the war. Isabel, her heart pounding with excitement, offered to read the diary aloud. Tomas's entries revealed his deep concern for his family's safety and his desperation to protect their legacy. He also detailed how he had hidden the fortune in various secret locations, one of which was the cellar Isabel had discovered. One entry in particular stood out for its relevance. Tomas mentioned that he had left clues in Emilia's letters for whoever might find them in the future. These clues would lead to other hiding places where the rest of the Martinez family's fortune was stored. Isabel and the family realized that the search was far from over. There was more to discover and more pieces of the puzzle to find. Driven by this new information, Isabel and Clara spent days reviewing each letter, searching for any hint or reference that might have been overlooked. It was arduous but rewarding work. Each small discovery, each underlined word or encrypted phrase, brought them closer to the additional hiding places. In one of the letters, they found a reference to an old mill on the outskirts of the city. Isabel, accompanied by Clara and some family members, went to the location with the hope of uncovering more hidden treasures. Upon arrival, they found the mill abandoned and in ruins, but after hours of searching, they discovered a hidden trapdoor beneath the floor of the structure. Below, there was another chest, similar to the one Isabel had found in the park, filled with more jewelry and additional documents. Each new find confirmed the wealth and influence of the Martinez family in the past, but also highlighted their tragedy and the loss they had suffered. Isabel felt an increasingly deep connection with Emilia and Tomas, as if their spirits were guiding her in this quest. During a meeting with the Martinez family to discuss the findings, Don Alejandro shared a family story that had been passed down through generations. He spoke of how the war had fractured the family and how the wealth had been dispersed and forgotten. This chest, said Don Alejandro, is the key to understanding not only our history but also to healing the wounds of the past. With the new treasures discovered, the Martinez family decided to restore the old mansion and turn it into a museum dedicated to their history and that of all the families affected by war and loss. Isabel was invited to participate in the creation of the museum, sharing her unique perspective as the person who had unearthed the family's past. During the museum's opening ceremony, Don Alejandro gave an emotional speech, thanking Isabel for her tireless dedication and for bringing light to their family history. "Isabel," he said with a trembling voice, "you have not only found a lost treasure, you have united our family and given us a renewed purpose. For that, we want to offer you not only our gratitude, but also a share in the museum's profits and any future fortune that may be discovered." Isabel, with tears in her eyes, accepted the offer with humility. She knew that her life and that of her children would be forever changed. The honesty and effort she had put into unearthing the chest had borne unimaginable fruit. With the new financial stability, Isabel was able to secure her children's future, invest in their education, and finally open the small business she had always dreamed of. Emilia and Tomas's story, their love and sacrifice, had not only changed Isabel's life but also left an indelible mark on the Martinez family. The museum became a symbol of hope and resilience, a place where future generations could learn about the past and find inspiration for the future. And so, Isabel, with her new sense of purpose and stability, looked forward with hope, knowing she had found more than just a fortune. She had found a new family and a bright future. The morning sun gently illuminated the old mansion-turned-museum. Isabel stood at the entrance, watching with satisfaction as visitors began to arrive, curious to discover the Martinez family's history. The museum, with its rich collection of documents, letters, and jewelry, had become a landmark in the city, a place where the past was celebrated, and valuable lessons about love, sacrifice, and hope were learned. Isabel had spent the past months working side by side with the Martinez family, helping to organize and curate the exhibits. She felt proud of what they had achieved together, and grateful for the new direction her life had taken. However, that morning was special. The Martinez family had a surprise for her, one that would change her life even more profoundly. During a private meeting in Don Alejandro's office, the family gathered to discuss the recent discoveries and the next steps. Isabel, always modest, was surprised when Don Alejandro invited her to sit in a place of honor next to Clara and the other family members. Isabel, began Don Alejandro with a smile, your honesty and dedication have brought us here. You have done more than unearth a chest. You have unearthed our history and united us in ways we never imagined. Today, we want to show you how much we appreciate everything you have done. Clara stepped forward with an envelope in her hand. This envelope, she said, handing it to Isabel, contains something we believe will change your life and that of your children forever. With trembling hands, Isabel opened the envelope and found a check for an amount of money that took her breath away. It was a significant sum, one that would not only cover her family's basic needs, but also allow her to achieve dreams she had considered unattainable. We want to reward you for your honesty and the tireless effort you have put into all this, continued Don Alejandro. But beyond the money, we want you to know that you are part of our family now. Your place here is assured, and you will always have our support. Isabel, with tears in her eyes, could barely find the words to express her gratitude. I don't know how to thank you, she finally said, her voice breaking with emotion. This will change our lives in a way I never could have imagined. Thank you. Truly, thank you. The Martinez family's generosity did not stop there. Clara, with a smile, added, besides the check, we want you to know that we have decided to give you a share of the museum's profits. This will provide you with a continuous source of income, ensuring that you and your children are always well taken care of. Isabel felt a wave of relief and joy. This gesture not only ensured her financial stability, but also gave her a sense of belonging and security she had longed for. With this support, Isabel was finally able to realize one of her greatest dreams, opening her own business. With the money she received, Isabel invested in a small cafe and bookstore in the city center, a cozy place where customers could enjoy a good cup of coffee while reading. Her children, Martine, Sophia, and Lucas, enthusiastically got involved in the project, learning about responsibility and management while helping their mother. The cafe quickly became a popular meeting point, known for its warm atmosphere and Isabel's delicious homemade recipes. Isabel and her children's lives changed in unimaginable ways. Martine was able to attend an excellent school where his love for history and adventure flourished. Sophia, with her creative spirit, found inspiration in the books that filled the cafe's shelves. Lucas, the youngest, grew up in an environment filled with love and security, surrounded by stories and laughter. The cafe also became a meeting place for the community, a space where people shared stories and built new friendships. Isabel made sure every customer felt at home, always offering a smile and a listening ear. The connection she felt with Emilia and Tomas seemed to have been passed down through time, influencing every aspect of her life and those around her. Isabel knew that life would always bring challenges, but with the support of the Martinez family and the security she had built, she felt ready to face anything. Her story, from the discovery of the chest to the transformation of her life, was a testament to the power of love, honesty, and perseverance. On the anniversary of the museum's opening, the Martinez family organized a grand celebration. Isabel was invited as a guest of honor, recognizing her crucial role in preserving their history. During the ceremony, Don Alejandro raised a glass and toasted Isabel, thanking her once again for everything she had done. Isabel, with a mix of humility and pride, addressed the audience. "I never imagined that a day in the park with my children could lead us here," she said. "But life is full of surprises, and I am grateful for each one of them. Thanks to all of you, we have found not only a lost fortune, but also a new family and a bright future." The applause filled the room, and at that moment, Isabel knew she had found her place in the world. She had fulfilled her mission of unearthing the past and, in return, had been rewarded with a life full of love, security, and hope. With her life taking a new direction thanks to the generosity of the Martinez family and her own efforts, Isabel dedicated herself to securing her children's future and realizing her dreams. The opening of her cafe and bookstore was just the beginning of a series of positive changes that would transform her life and that of her family. The cafe, called Corners of History, quickly became a community landmark. Isabel ensured that every detail was perfect, from the selection of books to the cozy aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Her children, Martine, Sophia, and Lucas, contributed enthusiastically, helping wherever they could and learning valuable lessons about teamwork and business management. Martine, inspired by the stories of love and bravery he had read in Emilia and Tomas's letters, decided to pursue a career in history. With the financial help provided by the Martinez family and the cafe's income, he was able to attend a prestigious university. There, his passion blossomed, and he soon excelled as a brilliant student, determined to discover and tell the hidden stories of the past. Sophia, with her artistic inclination, found in the bookstore a space to develop her creativity. She organized art and reading workshops for the community's children, turning the cafe into a place where young minds could explore and grow. Her talent did not go unnoticed, and soon she began selling her own illustrations, contributing even more to the family business. Little Lucas, who had grown up in an environment full of love and support, developed an insatiable curiosity about everything around him. He spent hours in the bookstore, devouring books about science and nature. Isabel knew that when the time came, he would be ready to pursue his own dreams with the same determination she had shown. Over time, Isabel also decided to expand her business. Using part of the reward and the cafe's profits, she opened a second location in a nearby town. The new bookstore cafe, managed by a passionate and dedicated team, replicated the original success, extending Isabel's positive influence to more communities. Isabel's life became filled with significant events. She was invited to speak at conferences about her experience and the importance of preserving history. She became an example of how honesty and hard work could transform lives, inspiring others to pursue their dreams despite difficulties. The Martinez family, for their part, never ceased to be part of Isabel's life. They maintained a close relationship, celebrating holidays together and supporting each other. In difficult times, the bond they had forged through the chest's discovery had turned into a deep and lasting friendship. One day, while Isabel was reviewing some old documents at the museum, Clara approached her with a warm smile. "Isabel, there's something we want to show you," she said, guiding her to a new exhibition they had prepared in secret. The exhibition was a detailed chronicle of Amelia and Tomas's story, from their meeting to the challenges they faced and the love that kept them united. In the center of the display was a framed letter written by Amelia, with a message that resonated deeply in Isabel's heart. "To whoever finds this chest, know that our love and story are meant to guide and protect. May you find in our words the strength and hope to overcome any adversity." Isabel stared at the letter, feeling an even deeper connection with Amelia. The words of the woman from another time had crossed the centuries to give her strength and purpose. At that moment, Isabel knew that everything she had done had been worth it. With a smile, she turned to Clara. "Thank you," she said, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for everything." Clara hugged her. "No, Isabel, thank you. You have given us much more than we could have imagined." Isabel and her children's lives continued, filled with love, hope, and opportunities. Challenges kept appearing, as in any life, but Isabel knew she had the strength to face them. She had built a life full of purpose and had found an extended family that supported her every step of the way. Isabel, Martine, Sophia, and Lucas looked to the future with enthusiasm and confidence, knowing that thanks to a chest buried in a park, their lives had been transformed forever. And so, with a community that respected her, a family that loved her, and a bright future ahead, Isabel found the peace and happiness she had long sought. What an exciting journey we've just experienced together. But this is only the beginning. Click on the next video that appears on your screen and keep enjoying amazing content. If you want me to keep bringing you these stories every day, consider supporting me with a coffee through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment. Your support is what makes it possible for me to keep telling these stories. See you in the next video.